Aries, what's up? Let's see what's going on with your divine counterpart. What's the holdup? Any blockages? Any advice? Any opportunities? Signs, synchronicities, confirmations that you might need to know what's going on with your person. This is for singles. If you are in a connection and you're looking at tarot to try and figure out what's going on, probably says a lot more about your connection than any tarot reading will, right? So this is for singles. No connections. Okay. Four of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Five of Cups. Four of Wands is that divine union. It's the marriage of two souls. It's that coming together. It's the matrimony. The Holy Trinity coming together. Two Holy Trinities coming together to be the divine masculine, divine feminine, divine creation. Ooh. Could be a Page of Swords because my eye feels suddenly strained. So someone could just be like up all night watching. I don't see that in the cards, but take it if you will. But the Two of Pentacles is balancing two or more ideas. It's multitasking, it's juggling. But it's not throwing things up in the air, it's really holding on to them. So you could have a sort of attachment, even though she's dancing. This is like Esmeralda dancing, very free and fiery. I'm getting more of like there's an attachment, there's a fixed energy here. You could be dealing with a fixed sign, but or of a fixed sign placement, but there's something about holding on to your money. And it's not the Four of Pentacles, it's maybe okay, spam callers, but it was 2:02 on the clock just now. So this could be a coming together, a merging of two people who are seemingly opposing or opposite, but at your core you're the same. Five of Cups is, Five of Cups is, crying over spilled milk. But see, this person's plugging their ears. They're not listening to this. They're not listening to fear. So there's a level of courage and rebellion in this connection for some reason. So with this fixed energy, you could be very much, both of you could be very, it doesn't feel blocked, it just feels different. We're going to clarify in a second, but I'm getting a sense of almost a standoff, but it's like a dance-off. So you both could be very opinionated, right? You could be very fixed in your decisive energy, right? You have very decisive energy. So it's like, it's not guarded though. Like the Four of Pentacles, it's not guarded, but there is a bit of a rebellion. Maybe this is kind of the energy that you guys are going to have. Where it's sort of like play fighting, a little bit of sassing. You like the challenge, like you challenge each other. But it's like, oh, I'm so hot for you right now. Even if you have a disagreement, like makeup sex, but I don't feel like it's toxic fights that really lead to it. I think it's like a playful competition, or it's not competition because you both respect each other. It's not that you're not fighting for a hierarchy, or it's not like a rank system. You guys aren't fighting against each other, you're fighting with each other. Like it's maybe part of your foreplay. That sounds like an Aries for sure. That sounds like something y'all like. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords to clarify the Two of Pentacles. This is cross communication. This is blocked communication or some sort of decision that needs to be made. Two trains of thought. Okay, but they're tied up. Well, they're not tied up. They're not bound. Like they're they're blindfolded. Jeez. Blindfolded, but see how their arms are crossed? It's almost like, this is very specific, but you could be into like rigging, shibari, like bondage, but there's a trust here, right? So it's not, there's no degradation going on here. There's no, I'm trying to dominate you. It's like you're a switch. And this could just be, it's not in your wands, it's in the way you communicate, in the way that you do your work, right? So you guys are I feel like you're gonna share you work really well together. You sort of just like interpret and know what the other person's gonna do, and you trust the other person to take the lead. And then when you have to take the lead, they trust you. It's a switch. You guys are very comfortable in your power and in what you know to be true, and which is very much the Emperor and the Empress, right? They know exactly what works for them. They're very discerning. They've mastered their craft. They're magicians. They know that they're the creators of their destiny. They know how to manifest. They know how to do their work. They're balanced, right? Because Two of Pentacles is about balance. They're balanced in their masculine and feminine. Two things are possible at once. It takes a great leader to follow somebody else, to let somebody else take the lead, right? You're the student and the teacher. I feel like you guys are, you're obviously compatible. You're divine counterparts, but we'll see how that's the Hierophant with the Four of Wands. Keep dealing with the Taurus, which is also the Empress, right? And Two of Pentacles is Earth, but it's kind of like the Libran scales, which is also the Empress. And then we have the Two of Swords, which is air, and it's the Two, which is also kind of Libran. Karma. This is like karmic retribution for all the shit that you've endured, all the work that you've done. This is your reward. Your eternal reward. But in a good way. Jafar. Yeah, Eight of Wands. This is your karmic cycle, is through this act of rebellion, and maybe other people called you stubborn, maybe other people told you were like a know-it-all, or they felt like you were being competitive with them, and maybe you were at one point because of this maybe toxic maternal energy here. Maybe you weren't that nurturing, maybe you're perceived as being very direct, very blunt, and people were like, you're so mean. I feel like this person can take it because and again, maybe you were in a shadow form of that, but it's like you've come to a place now where you tell it like it is. Aries does that. They'll tell it like it is, and so you're just very direct. There's not going to be any bullshit here. I just love this. Like, there's no bullshit. There's no struggle or fight, but I feel like you've dealt with a lot of that because other people were in their lower vibrations. They weren't in their power, right? Like, if you ever try to have a religious conversation with people, or like a hot topic conversation with people, they sort of, maybe one of you is gothic. I'm just getting that sort of thing because I got the black fingernails here, Harry Potter, witchcraft. You guys could be, into that, the dark arts. But it's really not the dark arts, it's not, because dark arts are manipulative. That's trying to wield and manipulate and change energy of others, right? Light work and true magic is doing the work for yourself. It's doing it on yourself. So I feel like you were dealing with people who weren't accountable. But when you try to have hot topic conversations, and maybe you've had religious conversations with people or dealt with people who were very fixed in their ideals, but just because they were told to be, not because they actually believed it or they knew any better or that they'd done research to challenge their ideals or their thoughts or their belief system. They just were cheap, wolves in sheep clothing. Something with wolves, maybe a Pisces. Pisces is the Native American, or wolf is the Native American zodiac for Pisces. But I do feel like you are like a lone wolf. You're sort of used to doing things your own way because other people don't like it. So with that religious talk, if you've ever tried to do that, because I'm going to complete this fucking thought, it's like the only people who you can't have, with whom you can't have those conversations openly are those who are insecure about their own belief system. But if you've been with, if you've ever had the conversations with people on hot topics where it's like, man, I love this shit. I love having these deep and different conversations, and we can be in totally opposing ideals, but the fact that we've challenged those ideals, and that's because we're living in our truth, because truth is relative and truth is subjective. You know, and in realizing that what works for you, what doesn't work for you, is where the divine collective truth lies. But everything else where it's unconditional in that way, because you accept all things as truth. If that's a truth to you, if that's your love language, if that's the way that you think, cool. And I think that you just expressed your truth to people and they didn't want to hear it because it challenged their truth, because they were insecure in their truth. They weren't tapped into their intuition. They weren't masters of their universe. They weren't creators of their reality. They were just weak. They were in their lower vibrations. They weren't willing to do the work. And so I think that they misinterpreted you, and that's fine, because I don't feel like it fazed you at all, because you got this here. They called you names. They were like, you're an asshole, you're a bitch, you're a this, you're a that, why are you so, almost like, why are you so sure of yourself? And it's like, because I've looked everywhere else. I've been open to everything else, and I've looked at it, and it didn't work for me. So I know what works for me. And you asked for my fucking opinion. You asked for my insight. You asked for my thoughts. I gave them to you. You just didn't like the answer. You didn't like that I thought something different than you. But I feel like with this over here, I just love this for some reason. That I've never gotten this from this, but that in your energy, I'm getting this like very playful foreplay. Like the fact that you guys are so different in all the other superficial bullshit, like it doesn't matter, because at your core, you guys are the same. You guys are both unconditional, and you both are, because you're so secure in yourselves as individuals, on the work you've done, on the shadow work you've done, you're not offended by anything else. You know, it doesn't bother you that they think differently. And it's actually a benefit, and you like that challenge, and you like that additional set of tools in your toolbox, in your collective union toolbox, because, you know, it's, maybe you're going to be doing work with other people, and so just because what you do works for you or a select group of people, you guys will widen the scope of the work that you do, because you bring a different set of tools to the equation. But the tools are for the same purpose. They're for the same job, right? So and you're okay being like, oh, I didn't have a Phillips head screwdriver, because they do, right? Like one of you has a higher EQ, emotional quotient, which is typically the feminine. You know, they're tapped into the emotion, the unseen, and then the masculine has a higher IQ. It's like the feminine is not threatened by the fact that the masculine is smarter than them intellectually. Maybe they have a greater vocabulary, or they are more of a critical thinker, whereas the masculine's not going to be threatened by the fact, or look down on the feminine for the fact that they don't have those tools. And then the feminine can be their full self, the full, right? Somebody's taking a leap of faith here for sure. Aries, Aquarius, that's y'all. But that's the zero. It's like zero. Oh God, I love that movie. Not Zero Dark 30, even though I'm getting that for some reason. I don't think I haven't even seen Zero Dark 30. But Arrival, it's a sum, zero sum. Oh, now I can't think of it. And that's funny because that's part of it. But anyway, I don't want to spoil anything. That's one of my favorite films, and it's one of my favorite films it's a sci-fi, maybe it's classified as a thriller. It doesn't feel very like thrilling. I think that was a problem with it, is a lot of people thought it was kind of slow. But Earth is slow, so I feel like this is going to be very like slow and steady. And yeah, as an Aries, maybe you are like more go-getter, but in there, it's like they're compatible. The lovers in that are compatible in that they are so different, but they're working towards the same goal. Like one's a scientist, one's a linguist. One's very wordy, one's very communicative, and maybe one of you is more action oriented, right? But in that, you guys are going to be able to fulfill all your love languages. You're going to be able to reach a wider scope of people. Whatever work that you're doing with the Hierophant here, it's like spiritual teacher. You guys are something with the occult, something with magic, right? You could be working together in that. Well, you will be working together, right? Because we have the Four of Wands, so it's like Four of Wands is 4 is elementalist. You could be a life path 4. 4 is also the magician. It's mercurial. It's speaking your truth, right? Maybe one of you is really good at the stuff that's done in the background, and the other person's good at speaking about it, right? So you could be doing like seminars, where one of you is the extrovert and one of you is the introvert, and you both just bring these qualities. It's such a balanced thing that it's like two things that can exist at the same time. All right. So the 8 of Wands is that 8. It's the number of cycles. It's breaking the cycle of giving energy to those who aren't listening, who are resistant to change, who are resistant to accountability. They're just sort of like, they don't want to hear it. They don't have space for it because they're just not there yet. They're too insecure. They're too focused on the past. They're too crying over spilled milk. They're in a victim mentality. They're not victors of their reality. They're not, your name could be Victor, but something with the military, because 0 dark 30, Victor, Tango, Oscar, like I feel like, what is that, VTO? Maybe those initials mean something to you. Or yeah, like one of you might be, one of you could be a military, ex-military, or you just do things that's a very masculine energy, right? You do things in a very masculine, literal sense. But I also get with the phonetic alphabet, it's very clear communication. There's no misunderstandings here. This is very clear communication. This is miscommunication. This is misinterpretation. This is like, playing telephone with people, and they're hearing something and they're misinterpreting it and they're projecting their own bullshit onto it. So there's no healing being done because everyone's not receptive to the relative reality of the other. The subjective truth of the collective. We have the Knight of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Someone's coming in with a quickness. The masculine is coming in. They're going to fight through all this. With the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Cups, it's like, yeah, I feel like if you're dating past partners, you've just been interacting with people who are just not on your level. And again, it's not about that hierarchy. They're just not open to receive. They're not open to learn anything new, right? They want to teach. They want to be the leader, but they don't even know where the fuck they're going, right? Which is why it takes, the best leaders, especially in the military, like the best leaders are those who have been the follower. Students, right? Teachers who think they have it all figured out, right? Who think they know everything. And you maybe were called, I feel like there's gaslighting going on, like you were probably called a know-it-all. Or like, why are you so stubborn? Why are you such a know-it-all? It's like, I'm just telling you my truth. I'm not trying to negate your truth, but you don't even know your truth. So that's why you're the one who's actually stubborn, and you're the one who's closed off, and you're the one who's not willing to learn something new, right? They're asking you about yourself. I feel very specifically, somebody asked you, or somebody's, could be a pattern with this 8 of Wands, like a pattern of this bullshit that you've broken out of to come into this union because you got sick of it. But I feel like people asked you for your truth, you gave it to them, and they were mad that you didn't think the same way they thought, even though their thoughts weren't even their own. Their thoughts were just regurgitated political bullshit that they had heard, social media influence. They're so weak-minded, they don't even know themselves. And so the fact that you were so secure in your response and in your truth really challenged them. It triggered them a lot. Like, a lot. And it's like, why'd you ask? You didn't want to learn about me. So you weren't actually asking me, you were asking yourself, and because I didn't tell you what you wanted to hear, you're defensive now. And that's your problem. So the 5 of Wands is miscommunication, it's arguments, it's fighting. That shit's going, you're leaving that behind. Knight of Swords forges forward with direct communication, direct thought, right? That's leaving behind any sort of miscommunication. The Lovers, yeah. They're coming in. The masculine's coming in to, they're leaving all that stuff behind them, all that chaos, all the confusion, all the, well, why did they ask me? And then maybe you had some doubts as the masculine. Maybe the masculine had some doubts about, like, or the feminine. Both of you could have experienced this, and maybe that's why you're the same at your core, but you just have different opinions or different views, or maybe you just do things a little bit differently. But it's the same at the core. But I feel like the masculine here is depicted as leaving this behind, right? They've got these little tests. Could be a Scorpio. Could be, Scorpio is also the Tower. It's also endings. 10, the number 10. It's like leaving that behind, right? When you get a 5, whenever there's a 5 in simple math, right? Round it up to a 10. You don't like this place? Round it up to a 10. You have the power. You've got the power to turn this into a 10. Round that shit up and end it, because it doesn't serve you. You want new? You got to end the old. And see, they're being tested. They're being influenced by the confusion and lack of clarity of the moon. This little snake in the grass trying to come back in, and they're just, look at them. They're just like, I got you, babe. They're gonna fight their way to the feminine. They've got like tunnel vision on the feminine here. Need to do my foam roller, my next tense. The temperature dropped, if you can't tell, by my hobo chic outfit. The temperature dropped, and oh man, it was just, so then I sleep on a Japanese futon. 2334, you guys are mirroring each other. And maybe those numbers mean something to you. But I sleep, maybe you floor sleep, because I was just telling you about that. But I sleep on a Japanese futon, which is on the ground, which is really great for back sleeping. It's not great for side sleeping, unless you have like the right pillows and all that stuff. But anyway, because it was cold, I was sleeping on my side like a little chilly baby, because I fucking hate the cold. And yeah, so my neck's a little like kinked up. But we have the 10 of Pentacles here. 4 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, the Hierophant. I see marriage. I see you guys do things in a very traditional way. I think that you're very traditionally masculine and feminine. So it could be a fixed sign, could be an earth sign that you're dealing with, Aries. With the 2 of Pentacles here, with the Hierophant here, it could be Taurus. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. And the Lovers, could be a Gemini. Queen of Swords and 5 of Swords. We have all this blocked energy. I feel like you guys are pushing through. I mean, not just pushing through. I feel like you guys are like Spartan kicking through these blockages, and you're bringing things to an end. Yeah, six of wands. You're coming from that 5 of wands to the 6 of wands. That's self-recognition. That's, I'm not crazy. I'm not an asshole. I'm not a bitch. I'm not whatever you say I am. I am that I am. It's realizing you are a god, right? And that's not worshiping a false idol. If that's your belief system, you're probably this fucking person I was just talking about with religion. So, shoo. This is Sparta, 300. Get on out of here if you don't like it. This is 6 of wands. This is self-awareness. This is self-recognition. This is love of self. And then we have the 2 of wands, right? So it's coming out of all this swords, blocked energy, into something that is in your power, in your element of the wands here. And see, there's many layers here with these onions, or garlic, whatever they are. But I get like Shrek. He's green and he's wide there, and I get the Shrek. So maybe you like the movie Shrek. What's that song? Oh, really? The closing song that's very, like, Shrek is famous for it. Anyway, maybe that's, I'll find that song, and maybe that's what I'll title this video, if it applies. But I get like this 2 of wands is like 2 aces of wands, 2 people with passion, the same passion. That's a core. You guys are digging down to the core, and you're planting something very deep and layered. These people are all, you're done with superficial. Yeah, you're done with people who are just surface level. This is like small talk. This 5 of swords. And see, here's someone who's told their truth. This is usually the problem when I look at this card. Maybe you're looking at your watch, something about the time. But anyway, I'm seeing this also, the time, the clock watch for the Hanged Man. So more Pisces energy, intuition, your third sight, your divine sight. Maybe you have a Pisces placement, again with the wolf, Pisces, lone wolf thing. I'm seeing this as the victor of this situation, because these people are just walking away like, boo-hoo, I didn't like what they said. Like, you are victorious. You are victorious in this, Aries, where it's like, stick to your truth, because it's the only truth that matters. Page of Wands again. Well, not Page of Wands again, but the Page of Wands is on stilts that look like the 2 of Wands. So there's 2 of Wands and 2 of Wands. You guys are mirroring each other, where you're gonna, and well, holy shit, look at that. The 2 of Wands is the bottom of this deck. So it's like, I mean, 2 of Wands is someone who, if you look at this card, someone who goes into a whole new world, and they're leaving the old shit, all the conditional shit, all the like, this is a fixed wand here. This is not going anywhere. You're leaving all the stuff that's not going anywhere, and you're going somewhere, right? You're going to your person, or your person is coming to you. If you're the feminine, just Empress here, remember, your person's coming to you. 8 of Cups. They're leaving an emotionally dissatisfying situation, right? And you want them to make sure that they've left it completely behind. So just hold down the fort, hold down the empire, feminine, the feminine fortress, stay in your power and hold that frequency, right? Because divine timing is based on frequency. King of Swords. Yeah, you've got communication coming in. Queen of Swords and King of Swords. You guys are really going to be compatible. And there's that 2 of Pentacles again. I feel like you guys are sapiosexual. You guys are just going to be like a lot of wordplay. You're just intellectually compatible. You're physically compatible. And you're like a powerhouse together. People are going to see you. They're going to see you together, and they're going to be like, damn, what are they doing? How do they get that that inner, how are they doing that? And it's like, because you've done the work on yourself. You know, so if you're the feminine, your emperor is coming in. And if you're the masculine, just don't rush. The feminine, the empress doesn't want you to rush in. They want you to come in as the emperor. That's the only person that the empress is going to entertain or accept and receive. They're going to want you to be clear and communicative, and they're going to like the way that you communicate. So you want to come in as yourself. So if you have to go through that period of self-doubt, indulging in lower vibrations so that you can remind yourself, like, oh yeah, this isn't who I am anymore. You know, like after a breakup, if you're going to the bar or whatever, if you have to do that, get it out of your system before you come to the Empress. She's waiting. The Empress is waiting. The Empress is fine. They're just holding it down. But if you're on that frequency and you know, and when you're the Emperor or the Empress, you know you're on that frequency. So if you can say, I'm the Emperor, I'm the Empress, then that like attracts like. Divine union is a frequency. Divine timing is a frequency. Hold it, and they're coming in. All right, I think that's it. Hopefully there was something in here for you. It looks really good. You know, mazel tov to you both, because it's going to be everything. It's going to be all the things. It's going to be good. It feels really good. I'm going to take this energy and I'm just going to ride it out through my day and hold my frequency because I like it. It's good. So until next time, I wish you well.